With the release of Sonic Frontiers Update 3, The Final Horizon, I wanted to look back at all the previous updates and see which one is the best. I know I said I would do a part 2 video to Update 3, but it turns out you get nothing for 100%ing the update. Aside from some tips on how to fight the Supreme End. Thanks. So let's begin with Update 1, Sight, Sound, and Speed. Update 1 adds 4 main things: Photo Mode, Jukebox, and the main event, or I guess co-main event, Cyberspace Challenge and Battle Rush. First of all, this update fixed the Elder Coco so that we don't have to level up Sonic stats one by one, so already off to a good start. Let's talk about Photo Mode. It definitely is a welcome feature, but I just wish it was expanded upon a little bit more. Judging by the picture, it implies that you could change Sonic's pose and expression. But you can't. It's Sonic's pose and expression whenever you pause the game, and that's another thing. You have to pause the game every time to go into photo mode. Now this isn't that bad, but in other games like in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, you press a singular button on the D-pad to open up photo mode, and that would definitely make accessing photo mode a little bit quicker. The Jukebox is definitely one of my favorite features added in any Sonic game, mainly because it fixes one thing I didn't actually like about the game, which was the open zone music. It's not bad, but I would prefer more energetic music. Like, have you listened to the series' OST? Another thing I like about the Jukebox is that you have to collect the sound memories, and they're in locations that you may not have checked in your playthrough, especially on Araya, where you really only go to the towers. And I love the songs that were included. The only ones that were missing were the Titan themes, which is a little disappointing, but it doesn't really matter to me because I've listened to these themes so many times already. Just like photo mode, I love for this feature to return in future Sonic games with more tracks. I mean, we've already got something similar in Generations, so I have faith in this returning. Cyberspace Challenge and Battle Rush are the new modes in this update. Let's start with Cyberspace Challenge. In this mode, you replay every single cyberspace level. Yep, first on each island, then it's every level back to back. And if you get an S rank on the entire gauntlet, your reward is the power boost in cyberspace levels. Was it worth it? Nope. Now, I was already indifferent on cyberspace. I like the 3D levels, but not the 2D levels. And after playing every level twice and getting the S rank on everything, you get an upgrade that honestly doesn't feel any different from the regular boost. Battle Rush is definitely the most appealing mode in this update. At a glance, it seems like we're finally getting a highly requested feature: the ability to replay the spectacular Titan fights. And we get that, with a catch. This mode has you go island by island, fighting every enemy encounter while being timed. First it's regular enemies, then the Guardians, and finally, the Titan. Now this is obviously not exactly what we wanted, especially because you can select the file that you want to use for Battle Rush. And if you, like me, have a maxed out Sonic, then these are going to be a breeze. And the Titan fights, when you finally get to them, are over before you know it. And just like cyberspace, after S ranking every island, you have to do them back to back. Get an S rank on that, and you get Super Sonic in the open zone? No. The ability to select the Titan specifically? Nope. You get Extreme Mode. Oh. Extreme Mode is a difficulty where all the enemies are buffed and you can't level up your stats. Oh, and not to mention that you will die in one hit, even as Super Sonic. Extreme Mode is fun to play, but the only downside is that you get nothing for being in this mode, not even a little emblem on the title screen, which is a little disappointing. I put all the main features in a poll here on YouTube, and Boss Rush was the fan favorite. Overall, Update 1 was a solid start to the updates. Update 2, titled Sonic's Birthday Bash, was easily the most surprising update. When the roadmap was first revealed, I thought Update 1 would be a really strong start and would give us replayable boss fights and open zone Super Sonic. Update 3 would obviously be the best for a better ending and new playable characters for the first time in years. And then there was Update 2, which at a glance didn't seem like it would do much. Birthday costumes and aesthetics, possibly some time trials in the open zone, and I'm be honest, I don't know what the new Coco was gonna do, but probably nothing that good. But boy, did Update 2 prove me wrong. First and foremost, the new control options are amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, we have momentum, and it is glorious. You also maintain your speed when you jump, which was definitely needed. Now for the big features, and we'll start with the Coco. These new platforming challenges to reach the new Coco strike the perfect balance between fun and challenge. This design is brilliant. A round of applause for Sonic Team. Your reward for collecting them is additional boost gauges, totaling in 4 extra boost gauges once you collect all the Coco. Now this is nice and all, but it pales in comparison to the reward for the action chain challenges. Now let's talk about those. These are challenges where you have to get a high score within the time limit. Everything you do increases your score, and these yellow orbs increase the multiplier. It's not too difficult. I usually just find a guardian or a group of enemies and take them out to get the S rank. And since some of the challenges are so close together, you can usually just activate it and then run to whatever enemy group or guardian got you the S rank in the previous challenge. I ran a poll to see what people liked more, and a majority chose these action challenges over the Coco challenges. Most likely due to the reward. There are 6 challenges on each island minus Rhea, and getting an S rank on every challenge unlocks the Spin Dash. As an adventure fan, I was ecstatic to see the Spin Dash return, especially since the Spin Dash has its own physics and it plays like a dream. This opens up so many more opportunities in the open zone for fun, launching yourself to reach whatever you desire. And the Spin Dash isn't the only reward for completion. If you get everything, and I mean everything, all the memory tokens, S-ranked every cyberspace level and action chain, collected every new Coco, get every fish on every island, view every side story, beat every single guardian, and map out every island, you get a crown. Now, I know that some people were upset at this, but I'm actually okay with it. Sonic is my king, and it reminds me of getting the proofs in Kingdom Hearts 2. I know the reward could have been something more, like Super Sonic the Open Zone, and no, I won't stop bringing that up, but maybe I'm just a sucker for cosmetics. And with that, we cap off Update 2 being way better than it had any right to be. Finally, the big one. Update 3, the final horizon. Now this update is easily the most divisive, and the main problem that everyone has is the difficulty. This update is tough. Stronger guardians with new attacks, puzzles that really make you work for completion, and enemy encounters with extremely strict time limits. For the most part, this update is hard, and right off the bat too. Adding insult to injury is the fact that all the new playable characters start off at level 1. Speaking of, let's go over something making its grand return. Multiple playable characters. Going in the order that you play them in, we're going to start off with the phenomenal return of Amy Rose. She comes packaged with a triple jump and a floating descent that is very useful and fun to utilize. In her and all the other character skill trees, there are skills of a certain type that each of them can unlock. All of them get a parry and an upgraded one that debuffs enemies, a new side loop that can be used while stationary, and unlock these special signs. The Spin Dash, and when your rings are maxed out, an even faster traversal method. In Amy's case, she gets this nice card wheel that can drift. Each character also gets combat abilities, a standard attack, a more multi-target attack, and a stomp. As for Miss Rose, you can unlock her signature tarot cards for attacking. What? You're telling me she's not known for using tarot cards for attacking? Yeah, let's talk about that. For some reason, Amy doesn't use her signature hammer for attacking. She does have it. It's used for her parry and her unique side loop, but why not just use this for all her other abilities like she's known for? It's even more arduous when you realize that some of her tarot card abilities are just abilities that she can already do with her hammer. Combat? She can use her hammer for combat in all of her playable appearances. A spinning attack that can make her dizzy? That was her first upgraded adventure. Floating? Nope, that was in Heroes. A bouncy jump? That was in her debut as a playable character. There is some dialogue where she says that Knuckles can use his fists, but she can't use her hammer, but we know that's not true because she uses it to parry and for her side loop. I guess they're just trying to push the agenda of Amy using her cards more, as seen in IDW and in Origins, but for combat at least, she should just stick with her good old reliable hammer. Her card spin, which I mentioned before, is fun to do. It also has an upgrade to negate the dizziness, but I never really used it. The same could be said for her multi-lock, which just lets you lock onto multiple targets and then attack in a pretty neat sequence. Maybe the reason I didn't use them as much is just because I didn't use Amy for combat all that much. Aside from their unique skills, all the characters control like Sonic, with their additional character-defining traits like Knuckles' gliding and climbing on walls and Tails' flight. I've heard people complain about how they feel too similar to Sonic, but guys, this is literally how it was in the 2D games. Now this argument is kinda dicey, especially since in all the 3D games they played very differently from Sonic. But my counter to that is that it's all the same formula. Let me explain. In Adventure and Adventure 2, Knuckles is scouring the map for Master Emerald shards, just like Sonic is now. They all have the same objective: traverse the open zone to find the next destination, just like Sonic. Now that makes it sound super simple. It's obviously more complex than that. Sonic's been finding Guardians to fight to find portals to access cyberspace to get Volkey so we can find the Chaos Emeralds. And the other characters have their own challenges to get to their destinations. I guess there are some unique traits that they could give to other characters. Like, in the 2D games, Knuckles had a shorter jump than everyone else, so I guess they could have implemented that, but Knuckles is fine without it. On that note, let's talk about Knuckles. Alright, let's address the elephant in the room: the gliding. Yes, the gliding is not optimal. The turning doesn't control that well, and the animation to transition into the glide is annoying. It's even more infuriating because we know how good the gliding can be. Adventure 2's control was perfect, with no animation in between transitions, so it's a little disappointing that the glide in Frontiers doesn't control better. He also has a 3-hit combo and a drill attack, which is good, but I feel like the side loop was much better for combat. You know, a lot of these skills seem like they'd be useful throughout the entire game. Sounds like a good video idea. He has 2 max ring traversal skills, one being an upgraded boost, and the other being an infinite glide that increases speed and does not lose altitude. And I like it. It doesn't fix the main problem with gliding, but it does make traveling a lot easier, unless you have to turn. The last thing that Knuckles has is climbing on red walls, and it controls fine. The only negative thing I have to say is obviously the fact that we can only climb red walls. Like, what is this, Sonic Boom? I think we can all agree that Tails' boom design is probably the best thing to come out of that abomination. And how convenient that Tails is the last character we have to talk about. Out of the 3, Tails is definitely my favorite, and judging by the poll I ran, my audience agrees. His flight control is fine, and I thought we would get an infinite flight skill, but we got something even better. But first, the one negative thing about Tails is his attack. Instead of his tail attack from Adventure 1, which I really want to see expanded upon, he just got some wrenches, which are lame, even though you can use them as a little platform to jump off of. But the reason that Tails is so much fun to play as is his Cyclone Boost skill, in which Tails manifests the Cyclone from Sonic Adventure 2. With this skill, he can just fly freely throughout the air, ascending and descending at your leisure. He also gets the Hyper Beam from Adventure 2's multiplayer, and it's nice, but I rarely use it on enemies. What else would you use it for? Oh, you know. Now that we've finished the characters, we can move on to the other features in this update. Uranos Island has been completely updated to accommodate these new characters, and Sonic's portions are just climbing these new towers. But don't make any mistake, these new towers, man, they make Ria's towers feel like they had elevators because they are way more difficult. But I actually like it for the towers. I like the difficulty spike for the towers because it's just platforming, and it's really innovative too. The difficulty spike that I didn't like was with the Guardians. Even when you get their patterns down, some of them are so frantic and have so much defense that the fights last forever. For that reason, Master Ninja is still my favorite because it gets more moves, but its movements aren't so wild that you can't hit him. I guess a band-aid on the issue is that it's easy to max out your characters due to the new Starfall Knights, which give you Seed and Cocoa instead of fishing coins. But even then, the enemy's defenses are still sky high, so I still feel like I'm at level 1. A way the devs could have fixed this issue is by making it progress naturally, giving us players more time to get used to these new characters. For example, when you start Sonic Frontiers, you don't immediately fight Master Ninja and Silver Hammer. You fight regular Ninja and Tower, and slowly make your way up to Master Ninja and Silver Hammer on a later island. Another thing that they could have eased you into is the perfect parry for the Master King's trial. I'm skipping the other trials because aside from the Snake's trial, they're all easy. But the Master King, he is not pulling any punches. In his trial, you have to face the first 3 Titans at level 1 with only 400 rings throughout the gauntlet, and you cannot replenish them at all. But my main issue is with the new perfect parry. It's not timing based. It's like a parry in any other game, but the problem lies with the fact that I've been fighting these Titans in Frontiers for almost a year with the parry from this game, and without any practice timing, not even in the training simulator, we're thrust in with this nerf parry and no good indicators on when to use it. Yeah, there's a little spidey sense indicator, but it's so small and it isn't exact, so I still ended up getting hit numerous times. And with the Wyvern fight, boy, if you can't parry, you're not getting past the boss with enough rings to fight the next one. I ended up having to turn it on easy mode just to get a more forgiving parry so I could finally beat this trial. With the trials complete, emeralds collected, and new power acquired, it's time to finish this once and for all. After steamrolling Supreme, we get one of the best bosses in Sonic history. If you know what you're doing. Either you, like me, fight the boss multiple times and get lucky enough to accidentally sever the connection between the end and Supreme, or you 100% the DLC and have Master King inform you on how to do it. Either way, once you know what you're doing, you're gonna have a good time. And Super Sonic 2 is a demon. He just radiates Black Air Force energy while still keeping his Sonic attitude and cool factor. And I nearly shed a tear when during the second phase, Sonic gets overwhelmed by a Supreme Spirit Bomb and starts regressing from 2 to regular Super Sonic to base, loses all of his rings, and then he's just floating there smiling and powers back up. When he struck this pose, I was ecstatic. The Sonic I loved was truly back. Even though all he does gameplay-wise is just give us the perfect parry, but it works with this boss because it was designed with the perfect parry in mind. The attacks are telegraphed better, and I think that the challenge is perfect. And man, oh man, I love this fight. The lighting, the fact that everyone comes in to assist you, with Sage and the other characters making a barrier, Eggman and the gun at the end. The remix of I'm Here. Everything in this fight is spectacular. And the ending of this fight is easily top 3 in the entire series. Words can't describe it, just take a look.
Sonic, it's now or never! Sorry, Master King. Looks like I'm going all out after all.
After seeing that, I knew everything I just endured was worth it, ending not only the final horizon, but Sonic Frontiers entirely. Now that we've gone over everything and all the updates, it's time to answer the question, which update is the best? And honestly, I gotta say Update 3. Even with the controversy and all the struggles we had to go through, I still believe that this is a truly phenomenal part of the game. The multiple playable characters in the new ending are enough to push for first place. And yeah, you don't get to play as the other characters on other islands like I'd hoped, but hey, that's what mods are for. In second place, I have Update 2, and in last place, I have Update 1. None of them are bad, but only one can be on top. And according to my audience, who are always right by the way, Update 3 is the best by a landslide. Now that we have new playable characters, I want to go back and I want to update that gameplay styles tier list that I made. Back here once again, I want to put Frontiers Amy in S tier. I'll put her below, I'll put her above Super Frontier Sonic because you actually like traverse with Amy. We'll put Knuckles because of his like nerfed gliding and his climbing that can only be on specific walls. I'll put him above the 2D version. I'll put him right below Treasure Hunting Knuckles. And Frontiers Tails, we'll put that above Frontiers Amy, and BAM! Completed tier list. And with that, I'd like to thank you all for watching. This was really fun to make, and I have more gameplay challenge videos and discussion videos on the way. If you have any suggestions, why not drop them down in the comments below, and you never know, they could become a video. But if you enjoyed, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to get notified whenever I upload. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. Guys, let's hit that ASAP. The future of Sonic is brighter than ever before. So yeah, that's all. Bye, guys.